Okay, aloha. We're going to be pretty much doing everything on the ground. And I just wanted to talk to you guys before we get started. This is for beginners. This is like level one of level one. So I want you to be comfortable going into this. And again, blocks if you have them, or paint cans, like gallon paint cans or big soup cans. A body pillow like this, especially if you have problems with your knees, you can put it under your knees. And I just wanted to show you something that people that do have trouble with their knees they use these because they're real easy to move them on and off the mat. Sometimes you can even put your elbows on them or whatever. So you can find this stuff online or hopefully at your local store. We can do some shopping supporting our local stores. So I wanted to do this one from the courtyard just because I thought it would be a little bit nicer and a nice change. So the purpose of yoga is many faceted. You have the spiritual aspect of it. There are a lot of people that can't meditate. It just doesn't work for them to sit, and that's part of our collective consciousness. But getting into your body with yoga and doing the breathing is a form of meditation. It took me a long time to decide to become a yoga teacher because I just love going into a class and being told what to do because I don't have to think. I don't have to think for that hour. So that's really a nice thing. And then the physical aspect of it is that we tend to move our issues through our tissues. So in other words, we put our issues in our body. And with yoga, it's moving stuff through. It opens the blocks. So it's not the end all be all. I also do body work and other stuff, but it sure goes a long way, especially if I'm feeling really uptight. Just doing some breathing techniques and some moving techniques really, really helps. So blocks, I talked a little bit about how they're extenders, but when I talked about it, I talked about going down like this or even just going down like this. But if you're going to be put in downward dog, which is a resting position, you're going to tuck your toes and you're going to come up. And what the blocks will do for somebody that's maybe taller or whatever, the blocks will help you put your body more into alignment. For me, it doesn't work at all. It feels very out of alignment. But I wanted you to see that. So you can take big couch pillows and even have some small couch pillows. And then again, a yoga mat or a towel or a blanket to lay out, and then a bigger pillow to put under your knees or another towel or blanket. Okay, so let's get started. If you have trouble sitting on the floor, you can sit up in a chair for the very beginning. We're just going to take a couple minutes and move into a quick little meditation. So I like putting a block under me and then dropping my feet, my knees really low. And what this does for me is it allows me to sit for a lot longer. So get into a position where you're sitting. If you're in a chair, your feet should be flat on the floor, hands on your knees. If you're on the floor, just make sure your knees are below your pelvis. This prevents injury here. And then go ahead and flip your hands up and close your eyes. And just breathe. Just say to yourself, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And you can try this for a meditation technique anytime. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. I am breathing out. Just think that and keep breathing. and feel yourself begin to settle down into your body. And begin relaxing. I'm going to offer a longer meditation at the end today. Normally, this meditation that I'm offering at the end goes on to the beginning, but today I just want to get you guys going and started. So go ahead and just quietly open your eyes. Continue with this thought of breathing. And then what I'd like you to do is take yourself onto the floor. You want to take your knees wide apart to the edges of the mat or the towel. You see my mat is actually not very wide. So take the knees out, the feet are together behind you, and then walk your hands forward and drop down. So this is called child's pose, and this is a resting pose. And I've even seen advanced yogis take this pose. Because, you know, every day is different. Some days we feel good, some days we don't. Some days our practice is dead on, some days it's not. So this is a nice resting position. It's a heart opening position. Let's take just a couple more breaths here. I'm not going to keep you in these positions for very long. If you're pregnant or you just have some extra fluff, you can always lift yourself up a little bit and put a block under your head or pillows like this. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and bring your feet under you. And this is called tabletop. You want your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, your feet are flat. And just stay here for a minute and get used to this feeling, because I'll call tabletop to come back into. Inhale your belly a little bit. Your back should be flat. The crown of your head is pointing towards the front of the room. Now we're going to do cat-cow. We're going to begin with cow. Inhale your chin up and drop your belly. And then exhale down into cat, bringing it all the way in. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And the idea here is we're starting to work with the lower back. Getting everything nice and stretched. We're just going to do one more. And then I want you to go ahead and stop in your tabletop. Take your hands, one hand up, one palm's length or whatever up. Tuck your toes and drop yourself into a downward dog as you exhale. The knees should be very, very bent this early in the practice. Again, we're working on the lower back, so you want to shine your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Then you want to bring your head so that your eyes are in alignment with the mat and your ears are in alignment with your arms. This is the second resting pose that you can come to every time. And of course, right now, we're not actually in it. We're just warming up. And then go ahead and drop back down onto your knees. Tuck your toes and hold it here just for a minute. Then we're going to go back up into downward dog again. Inhaling up. This time, try straightening your legs a little bit. You can even be up on your toes if that's what works. Or if you're a little bit more limber, you can go ahead and have your heels down on the floor. I practiced yoga this morning, so I'm feeling a little bit more limber than I normally do early on in a class. but I'm going to go ahead and take it back just a bit anyway. And then just maybe bicycle a little bit, moving, feeling your back move. Just nice and easy. And I want you to inhale, look to the top of the mat. And then instead of having you walk forward, I want you to walk your hands back. Bend your knees if you need to. And then go ahead and come up into a half lift. Now this is where the blocks are going to come in handy. Because, you know, taller people, this is your half lift, and you can even go into a forward fold here and bend your knees deeply. If you need to take your legs out a little bit wider because there's some tummy action happening here, then go ahead and do that. The object is to eventually get the crown of your head so that it's meeting the mat, and not touching the mat, but meeting the mat. Now, look how bent my knees still are. My body's not ready to do this standing up. Go ahead and stay here for a minute. Take your hands to your thighs and lift yourself up again for that half lift. And then we're going to exhale one more time into that forward fold. You can be using your blocks, whatever feels good. And I'm going to go ahead and drop down and grab opposite elbows. You may be able to do this, maybe you can't. If you can't, then just hold yourself on your blocks in some way that's comfortable. And if you can, go ahead and swing from side to side. Don't forget to include nodding your head. No. And then maybe nodding your head, yes. Take your hands to the mat, you're still in a forward fold, but you're looking forward. Now inhale them up onto your shins and lift up. Bring your hands to your waist and inhale straight up so that you're standing in a mountain pose. And I'm going to come on back. Hopefully you can see me a little bit. We won't be doing much standing, so don't worry that you can't see me. Yeah. Okay, so now we're up in a standing pose. Exhale, and if you can't do this, you can take your arms to your side or you can drop them down. And then just take a nice breath. So I'm in a different location, filming differently because I'm never happy and I'm not even going to look at this. I'm just going to put it out there. Okay? So go ahead and bring your hands up into prayer. We're going to do one Om. And it's actually A-U-M, although we tend to pronounce it O-M as in home. So A-U-M is like the universal sound that connects us to all that is. And if you don't, if your beliefs don't coincide with that, then just connect to your higher consciousness. And you can either join me or not. It's up to you. Just listen. I'm only going to do one. Inhale deeply. Om. And exhale, release. Take a deep breath, and now once again, we're going to go back down into a half lift. And you see this time I have blocks, but look how straight my back is. So if you don't have blocks, go ahead and put your hands here. If this is too much strain on your knees, bend them. And then just hold it. Take the crown of your head forward. This is a half lift. And then exhale once again into a nice deep forward fold. Wide-legged, legs together, knees bent, legs straight, up to you. And we're going to go ahead and inhale your hands to the front of the mat. Go ahead and use your blocks if you want to. Walk yourself forward to get back into that downward dog. Let me make sure you can see me. Okay? Then what we're going to do is look at the front of the mat. And you can either go into, just go ahead and look at me. Don't do anything. You can either go into a plank pose, or you can go into tabletop, dropping down, untucking your toe. If you're in plank, which is an upward push-up, go ahead and shine your tailbone up to the ceiling a little bit, suck in your belly. If you're here on your knees, go ahead, tuck your elbows in and bring yourself down onto the mat, letting your knees slide backwards. Now holding yourself here, take a breath, and then inhale, coming up just a little bit. If you want to take your hands off the mat, you can. That's too much pressure on my lower back. I don't like it. And then go ahead and go back and lay down. I have to turn this sideways again. I'm going to be staying down most of the time from here on out, so it should work out okay. So you should be on your belly, taking a rest. Okay, then go ahead and come up either into plank. If you're going to go into plank, tuck your toes, bring your elbows in, go up into plank, or leave your feet untucked and go up into tabletop. And you'll feel that you're starting to build some heat in your arms here. Then let's just take a breath, take a little rest in tabletop, breathing. I'm out of alignment, so I just realized I get put my knees under my hips, my wrists under my arms are okay. Okay, and then once again, we're going to look forward, go into plank, or take your knees back and take it back down and drop, keeping your elbows in. And this time we're going to go into what's called an upward cobra for our second round. This is one of my very favorite movements. And just stay here as long as it's comfortable, and then you can go back down. But I like the compression in the lower back and the opening up of the organs in the front and all the blood flow that goes there. Just hold this for a minute. And then exhaling, coming down onto the mat. Tucking your toes. If you're going to go up into tabletop, then go ahead and leave them flat. Inhaling up into tabletop and hold. Bringing yourself back where you belong. So generally we do this 3 times. So I'm going to show the 3 times, or the next one I'm going to show a high cobra as well. But I'm going to show it through a plank pose. Okay? So I'm going to move my hands a little bit more forward. Tuck my toes, inhaling up into plank. Suck in your belly, bring your tailbone up just a little bit. In gym class, we were always told to get our butts down, but here you want a nice straight back, and then you want to keep your elbows tucked in. Take it nice and slow. 1, you can do it. 2, 3, take it down, untuck the toes. Inhale high. Now a little secret or trick that I do, when I start getting tired, these are called chaturangas that I'm moving you through. The plank, going down, coming up into a high or low cobra, then going back down. And then we go straight into downward dog. So you either go up into tabletop or plank, or what I do when I start getting tired is I go straight from here into a downward dog. So do what works for your body, because what I'm giving is just simply cues. And your body's the ultimate guru. It's going to know what's best. I'm going to go ahead and start bicycling my feet a little bit, getting stuff moving, waking things up, wiggling stuff around. And go ahead and inhale your right leg high. And if that's not doable for you, then take your feet out a little bit wider and just bring your foot through. So either one is fine. Exhale your left knee to the mat, untucking that toe. Bring your hands up to the knee. Then take your hand into prayer and turn sideways. And take a couple breaths here. So we're still warming up the body. We're still stretching things out, getting them ready. Then go ahead and take your hands to the mat, both hands inside. Heel toe your feet out. You can grab blocks here or pillows to bring them up and support yourself. And then what we're going to do now is called lizard, and it opens up your psoas, or the front part of the left leg. So you can bring this forward and drop down into a lizard. You want to make sure your knee is not too much in front of your ankle, because then you can cause some problems here. I don't normally go into lizard. I normally open up and grab the back foot, but for purposes of today, let's just do lizard and relax here. If you want to go back and grab that back foot, be my guest. Take yourself up onto your hands. Roll the right one over. Grab the back of the left foot as you bend it and hold it. Open up your heart if you're doing that. If you're in lizard, just relax. And then if you have a hold of that back foot, go ahead and let go. And come back into lizard, and then back up onto the mat. Now, once again, we want blocks. Bring yourself up nice and slow. There's no hurry. If this is uncomfortable for your knee, tuck something under it right now. We'll wait. Something like that, just to give you some, you can even just use two mats and fold up a mat. Or if you have a mat, just double up the mat that you have. Now, I want you to take one block or one hand and put it on the outside. Bring this foot in. Your back foot is flat. Go ahead and come up and straighten that leg as best you can. You can lean back here. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you can go ahead and take this knee back or walk this knee forward, bringing the toe up, and give yourself a bit more of a stretch. This one doesn't have to be anything incredible. I do a routine where we do introduce the splits. That's nice. Really good opening. So go ahead and come back up. We're done with this stretch. Go ahead and take both hands to the inside of the foot, and nice and easy now, just bring your foot back into a tabletop. Take a breath. Let's go ahead and come into child's pose again. This time I'm going to show you a different one. This is called fetal child's pose. So instead of having the knees out wide and the feet together like I showed you before, you're going to go ahead and keep your knees together. Take your arms behind you, and you can use a block if you want to put your head on it, and just drop forward. Let your shoulders drop towards the mat. And we're going to rest. If you don't like a child's pose, you can sit, or you can even lay down. In a yoga class, any of that is accepted. We put our egos away and we listen to our bodies. And as long as you're on the mat, you're doing yoga. I went through a teacher training. When I did my teacher training, there was one day I cried on the mat for an hour because I just couldn't keep going. So I get it. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. We're going to go ahead and take ourselves back into tabletop, stacking the way we talked about. Tuck your toes. Inhale, coming back up into that downward dog, stretching it out. Then you can go into tabletop and just bring your foot through, or you can inhale your left leg high and bring it through. And then untuck the toe, dropping down. So you want to make sure your hands are on both sides of your legs are far enough apart that you're going to feel balanced. One of the tricks to yoga is if you want more difficulty, your legs are together. If you want less, your legs are a little bit wider apart. So I'm going to take my foot just a bit wider apart. Then I'm going to take my hand to my knee and bring myself up. Take it into prayer and turn it. Yeah, feels good. Getting a nice lower back stretch. If you have fluff here, just take it and move it. Whip it over to the side. And that way you can get a little bit of a stretch. And then we're going to do this side. Taking both hands down to the mat, heel toe out. Your foot can be straight. People that have narrower hips sometimes like this. I like my foot out. And then once again, blocks, pillows, whatever you want, just bring it nice and forward. I'm already going too far past this foot. So instead of taking this foot forward, I'm going to move this leg back. Yeah, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take it down, and I'm going to do a full lizard here and just rest. Taking a couple breaths. One more. And then we're going to inhale up using your arms. I don't want you to hurt at all, but if you're sore tomorrow, that's okay. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water through this, and hot showers are good. Now we're going to go ahead and take this foot forward, and you can walk yourself back and just be right here with your hands on your paint can, or even if you just want to come up and put your hands here, you can do that. Get a little strength training. Or if you want a bit more of a stretch, slide it forward, bring it up, and then just take a stretch that feels good. As much as you want. Every day is different. Then once again, I'm letting go of the blocks, bringing the foot around and taking a tabletop. And then let's go into another child's pose. So that's basically doing some nice stretch work with everybody yoga that I was talking about earlier. Not in this video, but in a different one. So the next thing we want to do is get you moving a little bit. And this I also showed as well. I'm just going to move over here, getting a little bit farther away, and hopefully you're going to be able to see me as I come up. Yeah. Let's just do it from the ground. So I want you to go ahead from tabletop and lift your right leg. Push the energy out through your heel. And keeping your weight on both hands, bring that foot through. Then once again, come up onto the knee. Once you feel stable, then you bring your hands up into prayer, and then you come up into crescent. And take a couple breaths. Your palms should be facing each other. I don't know if you can see me. And then I want to take it down and do the other side. So take yourself back into tabletop. Exhale your left leg long, pushing the energy out through the foot, following your blood flow as you're doing this and continuing with your breath. Inhale that leg forward in between your hands. Get yourself settled so you're ready. We always work from the mat up, inhaling your hands to your knee, and then into prayer, and then up into crescent. Inhale your belly. Your hands should be facing each other. Align your hips so that they're towards the front of the wall. Exhale your hands down and take yourself back into tabletop. And we're going to go through that routine either the way I just described, or if your body, you feel your body can do more, take yourself into a downward facing dog. I'm going to go this way so you guys can see me. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. And like I said, you don't want your feet to be in alignment. You want them on railroad tracks. Back leg should be straight. Inhale into prayer, then up into crescent, and hold. Now we're going to go into warrior two. Turn, or you're on your knees and you're holding the crescent. If you're on your knees, go ahead and just turn sideways and go like this and look over the front. If it hurts too much to look over your hands, then just look at the wall to the side. Okay, so this back foot is 45 degrees. The front knee needs to be over the second toe and drop a little deeper and hold. So you're either like this or you're like this. Either one works. Now, what we're going to do is a reverse warrior. Bring the hand up and over. If you're up in warrior, you're going to bring it up and over. Support yourself some way here or here. And open. Then exhale, bringing it to the knee and over, or you're down here and you're doing this. Then everybody go ahead and take a knee and bring your right hand down if you need a block. I have short arms, so I like block. And then open here. And breathe. Exhale, bringing both hands down. Taking your tabletop once again. And we're going to do the other side. And for right now, because this is beginner, we're doing a little bit shorter class. Maybe you just came out of surgery. Maybe you're not feeling well. This is a nice, easy way to begin. Okay? So let's go back into tabletop, bringing that left leg forward, or you can go back into downward dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, bringing it through. Inhaling up into prayer and then crescent. Exhale that left leg down. I'm too close together right here because I'm trying to allow for the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and take that forward. Or you're down like this. Crescent, exhale, warrior two. Looking out over the front hand, untucking the back toe. Or if that hurts, just turn sideways, looking at the wall to the side. Exhale, reverse warrior. I'm going to stay down this time. Inhale, extended warrior. And then once again, taking the left arm down, bringing the right one up this time. Your hands should be at 6 and 12, and you're getting a nice, sweet twist here. Exhale, both hands to the mat. Take yourself back into tabletop and drop into a child's pose of your choice. And just take a breath. So we're going to do one more round with what we just did. But I wanted to add that if you can go up into the crescent with your lower body, but you can't with your upper body, just bring your hands to your heart. Because not everybody can do this stuff. It takes time to get to where you can do that. But yoga does really help with flexibility and strength. I mean, that's the two things that it really works with. So go ahead and get yourself ready. You should still be in child's pose. So go ahead and get yourself ready. Bring yourself up into tabletop. I'm going to flip around this way. Inhale your right leg high. You can be in downward dog or tabletop. Exhale into low lunge. Inhale up into crescent. Bring hands to prayer or up, depending on what you can do. Exhale, open. Inhale back. Now this time, I want you to exhale both hands to the mat. Tuck this back toe and see if you can lift yourself up. Bring this in a little bit. Take your hands once again to that front knee. Bring yourself up nice and slow. We're going to take that back leg to a 45-degree angle. Inhaling up. Come back a little bit. Inhaling up. Now, heel toe yourself so you're standing in star. And then with a nice wide stance here, your arms should be up. Exhale forward, bend your knees if you need to, and take yourself down into a wide-legged forward fold. Just for a second, then we're going to inhale, half lift. Bring your hands to your waist and inhale up. Your knees be super bent right here. Then take a star again. Exhale into warrior two. Maybe you're down here. That's fine. And maybe you're like this. Then we're going to chaturanga, which is windmilling the hands to the ground, bringing your front foot behind you, and then taking a little rest, leaning back. And go ahead and take a breath. If the standing poses aren't working for you, that's okay. Just listen to your body and do what it says. Okay, so you're most likely in a child's pose still, and you're breathing, and you're just saying, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Inhaling up into a tabletop or a downward dog. Exhale your left leg long or up into a three-legged dog. Inhale forward into a low lunge. If you're down, bring your hands up onto the knee. Inhale to a warrior two. Look out over your middle finger or keep this sideways. And if that hurts too much, drop your hands. Maybe you're going to hang on to your hip. Maybe you're like this. That's all okay. Whatever works for you. Maybe you're like this. That's okay. You're still moving. You're still turning the body and getting blood flowing to the organs. So anything that's working for you, do it. It's all good. So go ahead and inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended warrior. And open, feel a nice stretch through here and an opening to there. Then once again, we're going to take both hands to the mat. If you can, come up, straighten that back leg, inhaling your hands up into prayer, taking them up into crescent, or maybe you're down on your knee like this. That's good. And then once again, we're just going to windmill over and down, taking the hands into a tabletop. Just breathe. And exhale into a resting pose. You can just sit up if you want, or go into the child's pose. You get to the point where you really fall in love with the child's pose. I know it doesn't feel like it at the beginning, but it's a good thing. So this time I didn't take you through going up and doing the triangle and the opening because I just felt like it was going to be too much. So I just kind of showed you what you can do instead. If you're feeling like it's too much to go back into the triangle or into the star pose, you can do a little slight variation, which is what I just showed you. Okay, so there are 5 series to a normal Vinyasa Flow routine. You've already done 3, which means it's time to slow down a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is do some stand-in poses, but you're on the mat. You're usually resting right now in child's pose. So I'm going to show you what the routine will call for. So in order to come into standing, we're usually in downward dog. We look to the top of the mat. Today, we're going to just go from a tabletop, and maybe you just come back and you just go like this and you stand up. You take a half fold, a forward fold, a half lift, putting your hands on your leg, and then inhaling up. And your hands are on your hips. So now with some standing work, I'm going to come back to a wall, and I'm going to lean against a wall. And take your legs apart wide if that will be helpful for you. What we're going to do is called the standing figure 4. And I'm going to kind of show you where your body should be with the standing figure 4. So you're going to kind of go into what we call chair pose. So your weight's going to be back on your hips. So if you can do this without a wall, great. And if your lower back hurts, then go ahead and tuck your tailbone down. If it doesn't, then you're literally sitting on a chair. The hands can be up here, the hands can be down here. Chair pose generally is here, but wherever you need to be, if you're standing up against a wall, go ahead and just slide down a little bit so you have a little bit of bend in your knees. Take your weight and put it in your right knee or your right leg, and take your other leg and give it a nice little crossover. So the ankle is over the knee. And then you can just stand here and lean and hold it for 2 or 3 breaths, or you can bring your hands up into prayer. This is called a standing figure 4. And then exhale, release, and go ahead and kick the energy out of that. Okay, so then we're going to do the second side. Once again, getting yourself ready. This is called mountain pose or Tadasana. I like taking my legs a little bit more wide. And I'm going to put the weight in the left leg this time, and I'm doing opposite so it looks the same for you. Go ahead and take your chair pose. Bring it up just a little bit. Cross that right leg over the left ankle. And then you can bring your hands into prayer and just hold for a couple breaths. Our balance is so important, especially as we age. And exhale, release, and kick it out. So that's the only standing pose that I'm going to do today because it's generally the easiest. So just practice with that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work our core. So, and again, we're offering something for beginners. So go ahead and lay on your back. And you want your feet up by your back end. Your knees and your heels should be in alignment with your hips. Then I want you to take a block or a pillow, bring your legs up so they're perpendicular to the wall, and my feet are like they're standing on the wall in front of me, and then take the block and put it in between your legs right above your knees. And take your hands out wide, suck in your belly, and exhale down to the floor, keeping the legs apart. Inhale up and exhale to the other side. And I'm only going to ask for 4 rounds here. Inhaling up. Your energy should be with the core. You should be feeling it in your lower abdomen. Okay, so we've just done 2. Exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up. 1 more, exhaling down, inhaling up, and to the other side. This will get you ready for more difficult core work down the road. Go ahead, take your feet down to the mat and take a little breath. And just breathe. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side. And just take a rest because you're working hard. You've been doing yoga you did the 20-minute workout. Now we're just kind of slowing things down and taking it for a nice restful position. So the next thing that I want to offer, because so many people are on their feet, especially medical people. So you can take a pillow or a block. I like blocks. They're soft. These are like a foam, so they're not uncomfortable. But if you're at home, you're probably going to need a pillow. And you want to go ahead and take it and put it under your lower back. The top of the block, if you have something like this, should be where your belt is. If you have a pillow, you can definitely bring it up higher. Then take your hands, place them flat on the floor, and lift your legs up and straighten them so that you're standing. Now, if this feels super easy, remove that block or pillow and do it flat from the floor. It's a whole different ball game, and it will work your core a little bit. And then just with your mind, push into your kneecaps so that there's more of a stretch here. Don't do it with your hands, just your mind. And just breathe right here, letting it rest. If you'd like, you can put, it's also called legs up the wall, but I don't have a wall right here. So you can do tower pose, letting all the blood rush into the core of your body. And go ahead and drop your feet and just take a breath. If you have something under, go ahead and lift up and remove it and come back down. If you haven't done these kind of movements before, they're going to feel really awkward and hard. But I promise you, just like anything else over time, it gets easier. You know, I saw somebody the other day that I hadn't seen, and she said, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. And I said, no, I haven't lost any weight, but I've been doing a lot of yoga. And she said, oh yeah, your body's changing. And what's happening with yoga is it's shape shifting, which I just love that verbiage. You literally do shift your shape into what your body naturally should be. Just go ahead and continue laying on your back. And then what I'd like you to do is slide your right bum to the right side of your mat Roll over on your left bum just a bit and then cross your legs and come on down for a nice little stretch right here. And you might want to have pillows here. You might want to have your foot here. Your back should be completely engaged with the mat. So you shouldn't be coming off the mat at all. And your gaze should be looking up. If you can drop a little lower, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But your right shoulder blade should remain on the mat if you're doing that. If it's not on the mat, then you need to bring your legs up higher. And again, you can practice with setting pillows up and just doing one pose. You don't have to do all these poses. Maybe you're just going to knit them up a little bit. And go ahead and bring that leg up and untuck that toe or that leg. Take yourself in the middle, let yourself rest. Boy, there's a nice breeze. It feels so good. It's super hot today. Nice. Okay, then we're going to do the same with the other side. Bringing your left side over onto your right bum, crossing the legs, take the arms out and drop down. So you're getting a nice long stretch right through here. We're going to go ahead and inhale that back up. Take yourself to the middle of the mat. Put both feet down. And I'm going to do one more stretch here, and then we're going to finish up the practice. So what you want to take here is, again, the heels should be up near the bum. They should be hip distance apart. Your knees should be hip distance apart. You're on your back, nice and connected with the mat. Take your right ankle and bring it over the left knee. Now, take that leg up straight if you can. You may not be able to. You may only be able to do this. If that's all you can do, that's okay. Just pull this so you're getting a little pull in the back of the right leg. Or if you can, bring the leg up straight. I see a lot of people that are like this when they're doing this. That's fine. That's fine. What you want to feel is a nice soft stretch in the back of your right thigh. You should not feel any discomfort in your knee or ankle or anywhere else. Again, that left leg is straight, it's engaged, it's working. And go ahead and let go, drop it down, bringing everything back into alignment. Take a deep breath. And I really notice, my left side is not as strong as my right side. So I notice a big difference in several things that you do in yoga, because you should always do one side what you do to the other. So what I'd like you to do is see if there's a difference. Go ahead and take your left ankle, putting it over the right knee, and then once again, bring that foot up. You can have it like this if you want, whatever feels good. This is about feeling good. Yoga, a lot of people think that yoga is a woman's game. Oh no. Yoga was invented by men for young boys. The gurus invented it the same time that Tai Chi and Qigong were invented, and all three work with the meridians. But they created it so that the young monks would be worn out enough to meditate. Go ahead and release. And then it wasn't brought to America until the 1940s. And of course it was brought to Hollywood by the wife of a diplomat. And it's just spread from there. Took a while, but it's going. Go ahead and take some deep breaths here. Now, if you can, Bring your feet together and drop your knees wide. We carry, like I said earlier, no, I don't think I did say it. We carry our trauma here, and let's face it, we've all experienced trauma. This is where we store it. So opening up here allows for release. So it's not unusual for people when they first start doing yoga to cry in a class because they're releasing. Okay, go ahead and bring your feet up. Now I want you to take the feet to the edge of the mat and drop your knees in because you just want to kind of, put everything back. And then I would like you to take your legs long and take them to the corners of the mat and just drop your feet open. And drop your hands open. And I was going to do a little meditation here, but I don't have time. So what I'll do is I will put that little meditation together and I'll offer it separately with a different link. So open your hands out 45 degrees, palms up. Then if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. If it's uncomfortable, then leave your eyes softly open. And just breathe, releasing all the energy out of your body. Release any thought of breathing. This is the very last pose, and it will be offered in every single yoga class. It's called Savasana, and it's a resting pose. Now go ahead and open your heart, relax your throat, relax your jaw, and just be. Now I want you to take your fingers and your toes and start to wiggle them, bringing your awareness back into your body and back into the room. Maybe you want to take a stretch, like it's your first delicious stretch of the morning. And then go ahead, bring your left knee up, or your left foot up, and turn onto your right side, supporting your head with your arm and your weight with your left arm, and then bring yourself up into a nice little fetal position. And hopefully your eyes are still closed. Go ahead and come up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed. Putting yourself up on a block or a pillow if you'd like. Take some deep breaths here. Any of the moves that I showed you today, maybe you just want to do some quicker moves for 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe you want to do stuff that's more mellow, or maybe you just want to do one thing. That's all acceptable. Listen to your body and do what it asks for. Go ahead and bring your hands into prayer. Thank yourself for showing up on the mat today and trying something new. I thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice. The divine in me sees and recognizes the divine in you. Namaste. So I'm going to be offering a lot more videos, hopefully. It's a challenge for me. I don't like it. I'm never happy with what I see, so I'm not even going to look at them anymore. I'm just going to put them out there. So I will be offering a couple more videos at no charge, and then I'm going to be offering some videos at a really reduced rate, because I want people to step into yoga and start doing it, especially if you're home and, you know, there's a lot of stress that we're dealing with. So it's a really good release, especially once your body starts growing accustomed to it. And eventually you can get to the point where you are going into a yoga studio, and that brings you in touch with other people who are like-minded, and it's very, very nice. So you might be feeling good right now. That's called having a yoga glow. You may not. You might go, wow, this sucked. I really hated it. Keep trying at least a few more times. Look at different videos that different people are offering. There's a lot of really good teachers out there. And again, thank you so much. Aloha.